The Chinese military, the People's Liberation Army, has seen the biggest shakeup in decades at the week-long 19th Party Congress that is wrapped up in Beijing. Most of the top leadership has been replaced with President Xi Jinping's generals. Mr. Xi has already started a complete overhaul and modernization process of the military. He wants a fighting force that can back up his vision of making China a world power by 2050. With more than 2 million troops, China has the world's biggest military, but now Mr. Xi wants it to be the best. He has set up the deadlines for this to happen. By 2035 he wants it fully modernized, and by 2050, to be the top-ranked military. Nearly 90% of the military delegates to the Congress were new faces. On Wednesday, Mr. Xi replaced 3 out of the 4 top generals of the Central Military Committee. This was the last but most important step in Mr. Xi taking absolute control of the armed forces. The purges had been intense in the months leading up to the Congress. Generals that Xi Jinping knew when he worked in the provinces of Fujian and Zhejiang from 1985 to 2007. So, these generals that he has trusted have been promoted. Mr. Xi's reform process is already well underway. 7 military regions have been remade into 5 combat commands. The aim is to modernize to make troops more mobile and war-ready. Mr. Xi has used strident nationalism-like claims over the South and East China Seas to build his legitimacy as a strong man. Xi Jinping, as the leader of the PLA, is convinced within 10 to 20 years, China can close the gap with the Russians, and before the middle of this century China can close the defense gap in terms of military and weapon sophistication. With the United States, the Blue Water Navy is to be built up. As China pushes itself further into the Pacific, China has built its second aircraft carrier, and there is more on the way. The Navy is set to get a 3-fold increase in Marines in the next several years. It is also extending its military presence further afield, setting up a base in Djibouti. On the Horn of Africa, China is already starting to build its own military hardware. It has developed a J-20 stealth fighter and the new generation J-16 strike jet fighter. The PLA has taken delivery of its 1,000th attack helicopter. 20 years ago they only had 100, and they were used for transport. But there is a long way to go, and the Chinese military has not been tested in battle since 1979, when they suffered a humiliating counterpunch by a battle-hardened Vietnamese army. The military build is part and parcel of China becoming a superpower. Mr. Xi has made it clear he wants to make China great again. And he knows Mao Zedong's famous adage that political power grows out of the barrel of a gun is an important way to do it.